Amanda Knox told the jury, hearing her appeal, she just wants to get back to her old life. As you can imagine, though, that won't be easy after 4 years in prison.
Here to tell us what she can expect are Marvet Britto, president of the Britto Agency, a publicity and marketing firm, and psychiatrist John Sharp, author of The Emotional Calendar. Good morning to the both of you. Good to have you both with us. John, I'm going to start with you. After almost 4 years in prison, given the situation and the circumstances with which she dealt with the last 4 years, how tough is this reacclimation going to be for her?
You know, it's going to be tough, Chris, but it's going to be easier than I think a lot of people might expect. We have so much resiliency in us, and following common sense and having safety and support, the right guidance, I think she'll be fine. She can put this behind her.
A good friend of hers, Madison Paxton, who moved to Italy to be there by her side, has told 48 Hours that she felt really Amanda had actually she's stronger than she'd ever been. She'd almost found herself during this time in prison. Does that sound like something that could happen?
If you face your problems and if you find a way to grow with them, and I think we see that in her. I watched her last statement in the Italian court, and she seemed to be more mature, more forthright, more honestly able to convey who she is. And I think we see a lot of growth, and we can expect growth in the years ahead. She can put this behind her.
Yeah, Marvet, let me ask you this. She is coming back to Seattle, Washington. There will be such a rush for her to say something publicly, to sit down for that first interview. What would you recommend? Because all the talk is just returning to normal life and putting her feet in the grass and things like that. But the other side of it is the attention that this has garnered, and she is in demand, so to speak.
Well, the world has changed a lot since Amanda Knox was free, and I think the most important thing for her to do is reacclimate herself to her environment, to her family, and really regain a sense of normalcy. And at some point, she really should sit down and figure out what's best for her moving forward. Obviously, there are financial issues and strains on her family, so I think the most important thing is for her own mental and physical well-being. Then she should emerge and share her story when she's comfortable.
But is the interest highest now? Is this one of those things where you might be better off striking while the iron is hot?
Not at all. She needs to be right first, and she needs to be focused first, and she needs to really focus and center on herself. The interest will always be there because there's been so many stories, but never her story.
How does she handle that aspect of it? I mean, this celebrity that comes along with everything that has happened to her over the last 4 years, that's one of the reasons that people really want to talk to her.
It's true, but you know, celebrities need privacy too. They need a sense of control. I think she shouldn't be invaded or bombarded. I think she ought to control the story, like Marvet said. And if she takes a little bit of time and then does that, I think it'll be fine. She doesn't have the big risk factors that we worry about. She doesn't have a history of mental illness or substance abuse or family history or trauma. These are the things that can really get a person in trouble.
How complicated, though, is this going to make the rehabilitation process? There will be paparazzi. She will be stalked by different media outlets. It's going to be difficult for her to get away and be removed from all of this.
It's going to be difficult, and she's going to have to face that too. I think she can try to have some control. You know, even having some control gives you a greater sense of safety and well-being, and I keep going back to that because that's the most important thing for her to start with.
So then, Marvet, in terms of having that control, when it does come time, when she decides she's ready to sit down for that interview, she should absolutely probably be dictating the terms of how many people she'll talk to, when she's going to do it.
I think that she should also take a qualitative versus quantitative approach. I think she should go to trusted news outlets, and certainly they have built a rapport already with the family prior to her being released. So I think we will see her emerge on her terms. We hear she's a writer. We hear she's a very good writer. So I'm sure that she's written in her journal, and she already really has a story that she wants to share. And I'm sure she'll do it with 1 or 2 outlets. And I think we'll really be sympathetic and give her her space and not really hound her.
You read my mind.
Really,
people
absolutely
will back off, you think?
I think so. I think so.
How sensitive, though, does she also have to be? Everybody wants to hear her story, but again, we always, I guess, kind of lose sight of the fact that there is the Kircher family that's involved with this as well. So it's not just about me telling my story of my 4 years in prison. There's another side of this.
And I think she'll be mindful of that because that was always a very at the center of her issue all along. But I think her telling her story is important because everyone has spoken for her. And I think it's very important, particularly with the difference in language, that she tell her story and her voice.
I think she'll do it well.
All right. Thank you.
Great to have both of you with us this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.